Yeah, thank you very much, for giving me this opportunity. We are here in Tunis to meet with the hierarchy of the African Development Bank to continue discussion about the support that we need from the bank in their capacity as the chef de file for the conference to get financial support for the Lake Chad, the mission to save the Lake Chad. The reason for that is that the Lake Chad is a common heritage for the sub-region, for Africa, and generally for the world, because it is a natural carbon sink, and also it's a natural resource for over 30 million people whose livelihood depend on the resources of the Lake Chad. The Lake Chad used to be, in the last 48 years, used to be 25,000 square kilometers, with average depth about 2 to 3 meters. But due to persistent climate change problems and the persistent high temperature in the region, high evaporation, the lake has shrunk to just barely 2,000 square kilometers. And you can see the change, 90% reduction in the volume of water. So if there is any economic activity, if you lose 90% of that, it means disaster. So the struggle is to save the Lake Chad, to reverse the situation for the betterment of the entire world.
I know it's used a lot for fishing, it's used a lot in terms of hydraulic energy. Is it already affecting the population? And if so, what can be done in a relatively short future to actually remedy the situation?
Yes, ma'am, it's adversely affecting the people. In fact, we are beginning to see internal refugees, not of war, but of economic and climate disaster. There are many other plans in place, but the quickest one is to implement the 5-year investment plan, for which we are going to raise funds from donors and supporters of the Lake Chad. This 5-year investment plan is just a starter to the grand program for saving the Lake Chad. Because according to the recent study by NASA, if nothing concrete, real concrete and tangible is done, in the next 15 years there will be no Lake Chad. And that will be disaster. You will have about 40 million people, because currently we have about 30 million people whose livelihood will depend on that. And there will be refugees, there will be problems, social, economic, and security. The medium term, if you want to use that word, is to improve the hydrolicity of the rivers that are bringing water to the Lake Chad, to sensitize the communities that have taken over land that was the lake, because eventually when the lake comes back, they will have to move. So we sensitize them, we plan for them to be moved at the appropriate time, for them to ensure that they are going to get better environment before the actual rehabilitation of the dam infrastructure, I mean the lake infrastructure is. And of course there are areas within the lake that have been sedimented by sand coming from the floor. And we need to dredge those areas to accommodate more water when it comes, and ensure that programs are tailored towards educating and giving the capacity to the stakeholders immediate surrounding, so that when the real program of what we call the interbasin water transfer, which you might have heard about, eventually comes.
How would you explain it to a layman? I mean, it's difficult to understand that you've got a lake that's much smaller than it used to be, and you're looking to basically revive it. What does that mean? Where are you bringing the water from? Is the water underground and you're going to dredge it up, or do you actually have to bring the water from another source?
Now, talking about layman, let's say if you are a bit careless and you have your room, you start bringing in any sheet of paper from your bread, from your milk, and the rest of that. And eventually somebody tells you, hey, you're wasting space in your house. What do you do? So the best way to make your room better is to remove those things. So as water flows into the lake, sediments follow it. That is sand from the upper reaches of the source of water. And gradually, as less water comes, these sediments accumulate, and they take up what we call islands. Those of people who are around the rivers and the lakes, they know islands coming up 2 years, 3 years, you will see water, but eventually you see an island. So these sediments that have moved are taking space, and we need to remove them. And these sediments allow for plants to grow. Normally plants don't grow in water, they only float. But these islands are created because less water comes and more water goes out by evaporation and by other abstraction by people. And this allows for plants to grow, part of the water to disappear. And this are what we call, we need to rehabilitate the lake itself. And this is what it means.
Okay, so you have good hope. I know you were here during the discussions. The African Development Bank is a solid partner who is going to help not only in terms of following the project through, but also organizing some of the key donor conferences. Do you believe it's going in the right direction?
For what I've seen, African Development Bank is the key partner and supporter of the Lake Chad. I don't know why, but I think I'm confident that we will get the best support. And I was privileged to come here in January. The reception I had and the reception we have now, I'm really convinced that more good will come to Lake Chad.